sunny as
Look at
possible
that.
here.
We match. We match, Will. Will Van Veen. Thanks for coming in. It's been
Always
a little while. I know you've been busy with your other life.
A couple of lives I
yeah,
have, yes.
Yeah, over Christmas and...
Yeah, my father passed away recently too, as
I'm
well,
sorry
so
to
I
hear
had
that.
some things on the go there too.
Yeah,
So but we're all good
yeah,
now. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good to be here.
So you're taking a rest after all your sales for your artwork at Christmas and...
Yeah, I actually have a number of commissions on the go, so it's busier than ever. It's good. It's good.
That is good.
Yeah, yes.
But you've got your other hat on today.
Yes, I do.
And
yes.
gosh, my husband's heart will be just going thump, 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 because this is something we've talked about I've talked about for quite a while more than he has.
Yes, yes.
Refinishing your kitchen cupboards. And I mean, my cupboards, I think our house was built in 1972. So
Okay.
it's time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And probably in your case, and often is the case that people are quite happy with the layout of their kitchen.
Yes.
So and their cabinets, like the boxes, if you will, they're in good shape and so on. So to refresh a kitchen, to upgrade it, all you maybe need to do is to refinish or to reface those cabinets. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
All right.
So we'll start off with...
I've kind of steered away from it because I know a couple people who've done it, and some people have said it's taken weeks. Other people have said it's so much work, and then I'm like, I don't want my kitchen ripped apart for weeks. And
yes, that's right. And so that's why the refacing has a lot of advantages. But we'll talk about the refinishing first then.
Okay.
So what takes the most work is, let's say, I'll just use this as an example. If you have a wooden cabinets, and you want to maintain the wooden look, but want to change the color, that's the most work. It's a tremendous amount of work. Yes, because let's say if I want to change this to, or especially if you had a darker one to change it lighter, what you need to do is you need to strip all that urethane top coat off, or shellac, whatever the age you might have on the cabinets. You got to take the stain out of the wood. You got to prep it, clean it, and then restain it and redo the urethane and so on. A lot of work. Most people don't do it. Now, if you have a wood finish and you want to keep that wood finish, that wood look and so on, but want to remain in a similar color, there is a way of doing that, which is a lot easier. So you do need to clean and prep, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. And you may have, let's say, around the door handle, you might have some wear points and so on that you might need to get a little bit of stain to kind of blend it in that is close together. And then you use something like this, which is a urethane top coat with stain color.
Okay.
And then you refinish the door with the new urethane top coat, and it's got color in it as well, so it blends the color together, even with some of your wear points that you've fixed up. So it blends it in together. It's not as 100% as if you were to strip it all down, but it does get you there from here without that tremendous amount of work. So that is one option.
Okay, let me ask you this then before we get into all this. If somebody is thinking about doing this, is their best option like take a door off and bring it in to see you and then talk about what they want so you know where to go?
Absolutely. Home Depot is set up that way for your do-it-yourself person, and we try to troubleshoot and coach and so on. We have a lot of different seminars that we put on in the store as well. But yeah, at the paint desk, that often happens where it's either described to us or they bring in, how can I, and then we walk them through it.
Because sometimes it's really, I'm a visual type of person, so like kind of a hands-on type of person. I have to be able to see it and probably like do it a little bit before I get it. Yes. So to hear somebody say, well, this is what it would look like, but you don't know what my cupboard doors look like, the exact color or anything.
Exactly.
So if you have it, then you can give me show me an example.
Absolutely. I like that much better too, because sometimes you're going by someone's description, which you may have in your mind correctly or may not. But yeah, if you bring something in as a sample, or with the smartphones nowadays,
a picture?
they show it to you,
Right.
Yeah.
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Okay. So
another option, and it's become very popular, is to take your wooden doors and paint them. Okay, a lot simpler, and it gives it a real refresh, and it makes it look more up to date and things like that. Again, that's just another one of the options.
Right.
Now, to do that, it is a lot easier than the blending of stain colors and so on. There's a couple of choices with the paints. Traditionally, one is now in water-based is the Alkyd paints. The Alkyd paint is an excellent cabinet paint because it's got a really hard finish.
Okay.
It's also really nice to work with as well, because when you brush it out, it levels beautifully. So it's nice to apply. And in the Home Depot world, we have two options in the Alkyd paints. We have the CIL Smart Melamine paint. Now with this paint, you do, and you are required to prime.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing necessarily, because let's say, for instance, if you had a dark wood and you wanted to make it light, the primer works not only as an adhesion factor, but also is a good color blocker, so you're pretty well already there, and then you do your top coat of your melamine.
Okay.
Another option is the Bare Alkyd enamel paint. It is really excellent as well, as Alkyd paints are really
like
hard.
the Bare paint. I mean, it covers everything so well.
Yes, it does. And what's really nice about this paint, it doesn't require a primer. Now, for instance, if you had a dark and you're going to light, there's, as we say in the industry, there's no crime to prime, and so you could prime it and then put this on, but it doesn't really require a primer. It also comes in a semi-gloss and a satin. The satin is very close to the melamine. It's a soft shine.
So explain to me what that is, because I don't know the first thing about painting. So what's the difference between a semi-gloss and a satin?
Okay, semi-gloss has a fair level of shine. And it's very traditional in older homes, especially century homes and so on. Trim and cabinets were semi-gloss. Okay. A good level of shine. The trend, and for quite a while now, is to have a softer shine. And when you buy cabinets, for instance, like this is satin. See, it's a soft shine.
Okay.
Both are very washable, durable, and so on.
All right.
So the trend is more to have satin. When Bare first brought their Alkyd paint out, it was only in semi-gloss, but now we have it in a satin as well. Okay. Okay. One thing about the Alkyd paints is they're really, really hard, which is a really good thing. But also, it is, I wouldn't say prone to, but it has a potential of chipping off because it's so hard. Another option that you have is the high-end acrylic paints. It has to be an excellent and a high-end acrylic, otherwise it won't be durable enough. Acrylic has a little more flexibility to it, so if it gets hit, it's more resilient and it doesn't chip off. So there's that feature. And
that always happens in a kitchen. I mean, something gets banged
yes,
or dropped,
that's right.
or
that's right.
Yeah, it happens.
We're really happy to have this. This is currently the most advanced acrylic paint in the market. Still is. It's been out for over 2 years now. The Marquee is like a cross-linking kind of acrylic. It really bonds tight. I think we're running out of time.
Well, we have about 20 seconds. All right,
all right.
I mean, we have a whole other segment, so we're good.
Okay, so I tend to go on about this a bit, but in its molecular structure, it is really, really tight. It's a reactive kind of acrylic. So when it's really tight, it has a tremendous amount of durability, scrubbability, water and stain resistance.
All right.
On the other side, it's got an excellent primer component.
We're going to talk more about that when we come back to Grey County Life. Don't go away. Welcome back. So, Will Van Veen, we're refinishing cupboards.
Yes. So we'll talk a little more about the refinishing, and then we'll talk about
and this will work for bathrooms as well, right? Vanities.
Yeah. I'm using kitchens as the main model. As you know, I always run out of time, but the same application applies. So what I thought I'd talk about before we talk about refacing, which is a lot simpler in a lot of ways, is when you're talking about refinishing your cabinets, and doesn't matter which type or which product we're using. What's really important is the prep. Okay, so let's say you got your old door, right?
Right.
All right. What needs to happen is you need to prepare the surface. One thing that the first step is to clean first. Very important. Instead of, let's say, scuffing or sanding first, because then any oils, anything that's in there will be driven in further. Very, very important that you clean first.
And what do you clean with?
Well, there's a number of options there, and TSP is used often, and or you can use a number of different, like dish detergent or whatever you like to use.
Okay.
The next thing, which is really, really important as well, is that you clean off the residual soaps or cleaners. Because residual soap is like wax to paint. And this is often an issue where you take all the time and you clean and you scrub and so on, but you don't take the time with clean water to clean off any of the residual soaps. Very, very important.
So you're going to want, and like I said, I know the first thing about this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take all your doors off.
That
take
makes
all that off and take it somewhere where you can do all this cleaning. So if you were doing it at this time of the year, like the basement with the laundry tub or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily immerse it into water, but
Okay, but yeah.
I always find it's easier to paint as well when it's off the cabinet.
Right.
Yeah. So then you clean and rinse, and then if there's a shine to it and so on, you scuff off the sheen. That's all that's required. You don't need to sand down to the wood or anything like that.
And this is where, I get that glazed look because I don't understand what all these things are. That's why you would take it into Home Depot, and then you would show us all the different things that you need to do.
I love to
with,
demonstrate
right?
this to people, and you don't need to use. Well, you got to be careful not to use coarse sandpaper. Just use fine sandpaper or the green scuff pads and things like that. Just take off the sheen. Now, particularly with the acrylic paints, it dries fairly fast.
Okay.
So you have a very short working time, and you want to brush and paint while the surface is wet.
But you don't, when you're using this, then you don't have to do anything else. You do your cleaning, you do your scuffing, and then you're ready to paint.
Yep, no primer required.
Okay.
Okay. With the alkyd paint, you have a little more working time. This is not a problem when it dries fast, but it's just a matter of methodically how you paint. For instance, if I use this for example, I would paint the inside first. So you brush it across. And
I'm just going to hold this up here so Jeff can, and then you can paint.
All right, I'll paint, all right.
I'll hold.
So you're going to think, like, let's say the wood grain is this way. So it doesn't matter how you put the paint on, but in your final strokes, you follow the wood grain, okay? And you work this, and this is the small area, while it's wet, and then you're finished. Now, you take, let's say, this side, and you paint this, and again, follow the wood grain, work it, finished. Then you go across this way, and go. What I'm getting at is you work each section, but you don't go back to these others, because in a very short time, the paint is leveling and drying out.
Okay.
So you don't want to back brush it, because then it can't level out. 3 hours later, you're hard-pressed to find any brush marks. And if there are any, they're following what would be the wood grain, even if it doesn't currently have a wood grain. I tend not to use a roller, because a roller will give you like an orange peel finish, which is not natural for a wood paneling kind of door. So the brush is the nicest way to do it. It levels and has a nice finished look to it.
Okay. All right. We got 4 minutes left.
Okay. So moving on then is to go and have your cabinets refaced. That means replacing the doors.
Right.
Now there's a lot more cost to that, but extremely lot less work. And you would do this especially if your doors are in bad shape or if they're really out of date and you want to really do the upgrade.
Well, let me ask you this though. So you have your old cabinets, and a lot of times, I know with mine what I want to do is change where the handles are if I do it. So that's going to leave holes in here.
Yeah, no problem.
So you just fill those in and...
Yeah, with wood filler, and then this would be if you're painting.
Yes, if you're painting, but if you're getting new doors...
New doors, new hardware, new hinges, everything's new. Okay, like I said, it's a little bit more cost, but it's only about 40% of a cost if you were to replace your kitchen. So it's a real savings in that regard.
Right.
Speaking of savings, as of tomorrow, there's 15% off on this whole refacing application. The other thing it'll do for you too is that it really upgrades your house value.
Well, I was going to say, we're getting into spring. People are going to start thinking about selling and buying again. So if you're thinking about selling, this is a small investment to increase the price of your house.
Yeah, kitchen and bath, if that's excellent in your house, you have a much better selling price and selling time as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like I was saying, it's a lot less work because it's all done in a couple of days. And the process is quite simple. You see your Home Depot associate. They'll set up a consultation time at your home, and someone will come to the house, and for no charge, we'll do a consulting and determinations and so on, and do an actual quote. If you choose to go forward with it, then what will happen then is a coordinator will come and do the detailed measurements of all your cabinets, because these doors will then be custom made and cut for your cabinets. In a few weeks after the doors are all made, someone comes in and they mount the doors. That should only take, depending on the size of the kitchen.
Oh, new kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then you've got your countertops.
Well, I was going to actually mention that. They also offer a design service as well. So if you wanted to do further upgrades, like for instance, a crown molding, new backsplash, countertops make a big difference too.
They do.
Those are all things that can be incorporated with that. For our short period of time, I just wanted to talk about the cabinet doors, but they offer that as well. And Yeah, and you have a lot of design choices. I just brought just a few. Basically, there's three categories. There's what we call a thermal, which is a single door piece, and this is a vinyl, very durable, very washable, and it's heat shrunk onto the wood.
Okay. And it's available in a lot of different colors.
33 colors.
Yeah. Okay.
Then there's a Prestige, which is very similar to that. It's a heat shrunk vinyl, but you can see it's 5 pieces. So it's shrunk into the piece and then fit in. Where here you can see there is a seam just at the back. You see there's the joint right there, right at the corner. But here you see it's all wrapped around. So it's got more durability, plus more of a very prestigious look. You know, because you can see the, and then also you can have the traditional wood. This is solid wood. Again, it's 5-piece design, but these are your wood cabinets, so you have that as well.
Yeah.
And this comes in a host of different styles and designs and so on.
All right. We're out of time, Will. That's hard to believe.
It goes fast.
It does go very fast. I'd like to have you back, though, to talk more about this, because we need to talk about, as people are redoing their kitchens, like I'm thinking my Lazy Susan needs to be replaced. Like, there's all kinds of things that people can incorporate into it. So thanks for coming in this morning.
And I was going to say, we have a great design center in Home Depot, and we can walk you through that. And it's all being done just a few months ago.
Okay, we're going to be back talking about golf when we come back to Grey County Life.